So yeah, now we're gonna cross straight to Italy. Sorry about my excitement. Let me just try and contain my excitement, right? For the love of the game, football is a religion. Bubesi Mpati Mhlaba is back. Football is a religion, ladies and gentlemen. It is a religion, football, right? So we will cross straight again to Italy with regards to the Monday night football, action that we saw between Lazio and Udinese. And it was actually a 2-1 defeat for Lazio at home at the Stadio Olimpico, in the nation's capital. And it was actually free Ulian, his lifeline, as Romans were very wasteful in front of goal. The Romans were very wasteful, and that's why, they lost the game. So Maurizio Sarri's Lazio were punished once again for their wasteful work in the final third, allowing a struggling Udinese to actually escape with all 3 points after a 10-1 victory. That's insane. So you look at the Bianco Celesti, they came into the match, with a point to prove after their painful evening in the Champions League last week, suffering elimination at the round of 16 stage after a 3-0 away defeat to Bayern Munich, which was expected at the Allianz Arena, which was expected, Udinese also felt the pressure, to actually perform as Serie A matches, the business end of the season, picking up just 3 points across their first 27 matches, leaving them tied on points with relegation candidates Hellas Verona. So the first half at the Stadio Olimpico, started as expected, with Lazio quickly, taking control of proceedings and putting Udinese under pressure. Mattia, Zaccagni hit the post early, suggesting some real danger, for the Frulian, outfit. And you could tell that the goal was beckoning. The goal was really beckoning. And despite, their on-pitch dominance, resilience, defensive work from, the Frulian side, it continued to deny the Bianco Celesti, leaving them frustrated at the first half, tick by. And despite, having 9 shots, none were on target for the hosts, raising tension at the Stadio Olimpico. And the second half started in incredibly chaotic fashion. Barely moments after the whistle blew, Udinese managed to find an opener after some sloppy defending once again, which allowed the visitors to actually break into the box, where Hassan Kamara, drilled a low ball into the danger zone. And it was actually Lorenzo Luca who reacted quickly and managed to poke his foot out to connect with the ball, guiding the ball past, Ivan Provedel to actually make it 1-0. That was just horrendous defending from, Lazio. And before the dust even managed to settle, Lazio, managed to find an almost immediate response thanks to their star winner, Mattia Zaccagni, who darted down the wing before slipping into the box where his cross was deflected off Lautaro Giannetti and crept into the back of the net, tying things up at 1-1. But, the insanity, continued, from kickoff as the Bianconeri, broke forward, immediately, putting the hosts under pressure. The ball made its way to an unmarked Oya Zaraha, who was easily able to place the ball into the far corner from just outside of the penalty area, putting Udinese 2-1 up. Finally, both teams, began to settle once again, allowing the players to actually breathe, as play slowed down, things quickly returned to their first half state, with Lazio applying endless pressure, but they failed to actually be convincing in front of goal. We saw Nuhan, Perez, earned himself a red card in the extra time after a tactical foul to actually deny Valentin, Castellanos the chance to actually break free. Lazio now were untimely unable to find the right rhythm in the final third, which did allow the visitors Udinese to actually escape the north with a vital 3 points, securing their 4th win of the season. The Bianco Celesti, top 4 hopes now extremely look slim with 10 matches left to play. So there's no Champions League for, Lazio next season. Sorry, Lazio. Next time. So I did expect Kube Sympathim Shaba here. Welcome once again to Football is a Religion. I did explain to you guys that Chelsea have got a great record of playing on Monday nights. They've gotten maximum points in all the games where they've played on a Monday. Maximum points this season in the Premier League. And the game against Newcastle United at Stamford Bridge was no exception. Remember, both these sides met in the Carabao Cup quarterfinal, which saw Chelsea, the eventual runners-up of the tournament, defeat Newcastle on penalties. In the reverse fixture, Newcastle were just all over their opponents. So, in this particular encounter, all we can just say is the fact that, Chelsea, they began the game on the back foot. Yes, they took the lead, just 5 minutes in, out of practically nothing, as the Senegalese striker Nicholas Jackson flicked the Cole Palmer shot into the bottom corner. The goal then, seemed to settle and galvanize the Blues, and they created several decent opportunities from that particular moment in time to quickly add a second. However, Palmer stung the goalkeeper's palms with both Jackson and Enzo missing the target from presentable shooting positions, and Newcastle increasingly took control of proceedings from the particular moment in time. While much of their possession was of the non-threatening kind, what we did notice is that Chelsea did turn over a few balls too many times in their own half. And that eventually came back to bite them. When Isak found the bottom corner with an excellent shot just on the half-hour mark, and that was a mistake by Gusto. I don't understand what Gusto was trying to do there. I mean, he should have just cleared his lines. And a frantic final few minutes, of the first half saw Jackson's goal being choked off for a clear offside. Willock failed to hit the target one-on-one against Petrovic, as well as Sterling missed a great chance by shooting straight to the goalkeeper. So, you could tell that now, from that particular moment in time, ever since Newcastle United got the equalizer, the game was much more open. And both sides were going at it, In the second 45, Newcastle United made a positive start. However, Chelsea soon matched them, and then they would actually, in fact, start to take control of proceedings. And after camping out, in the Newcastle defensive third for nearly like 5 minutes, Cole Palmer arrowed a great strike between the defender's legs and just inside the near post to actually restore the lead of the Blues at the bridge, And then Sterling then missed a glorious opportunity just seconds later to make it 3-1, which seemed to sum up his day. And that might be costly for him because Gareth Southgate, the England manager, was there in the stands watching the game. So imagine now you give that kind of a performance while your England national team manager is watching in the stands, and you give a dismal performance such as that one. What do you think is going to happen to you? Don't you think it might cost you your place in the England squad for the Euro 2024 in Germany? However, he was soon to be replaced by Mudryk, who took advantage of a similar opportunity and made no mistake, by actually, though it might actually go down as an own goal in the final review, but, just 10 minutes and, a chance to hold on to a 2-goal lead. But of course, Chelsea, their defensive frailties continued. They didn't do that too comfortably because, yes, Mudryk took the net off with a ridiculous strike in the 90th minute, but thankfully, they just could see things out from there, right? So when you look at the fact that Chelsea came into this particular encounter, they made two changes from last weekend, plus a shift, back to a back four with Cucurella as well as Sterling coming in for Chilwell and Colwell going into the injured list, Jackson scoring for the third match running, and then Palmer, ended a 3-match scoring drought in the Premier League, which was his longest of the season, up to 15 goals combined for Chelsea and City this season, and 9 games without a clean sheet in all competitions for Chelsea. Basically, they only have 2 clean sheets in their last 21 Premier League games. So next up for Chelsea is that they will be meeting the Foxes of Leicester City in the FA Cup quarterfinals on Sunday afternoon. So we are actually looking forward to that one. We hope to see the Blues will give up a much, decent performance, a much improved performance, work on their defensive frailties, as well as the fact that, what we could actually say is that they really need to be more, clinical in front of goal, capitalize on their chances. Yes, 3 points for them. Great performance once again by Cole Palmer, inspiring the Blues, to actually wrap up, their first Premier League win in 3 games against Newcastle. That was a much needed 3 points for Chelsea, which actually, puts them well in contention to at least qualify for Europe, maybe play in the Conference League next season or in the Europa League next season, but they still lie in 11th, so just a point behind the Magpies in 10th, right? So yeah, it's not yet over for Chelsea, right? Chelsea and Newcastle seasons aren't really panning out as they would have hoped, and one reason was laid bare in Monday's Premier League showdown, but it was actually easy to see, how both teams are languishing comfortably in mid-table when they were both guilty of several defensive lapses in concentration. We saw Sven Botman set the tone with a weak clearance to Cole Palmer in the edge of the penalty area, which culminated Nicholas Jackson to a 6-minute opener. And then roles were reversed as Axel Disasi afforded Alexander Isak some time and space, but it was actually, Gusto who cost Chelsea as well by giving away possession unnecessarily. Mark Cucurella was also caught napping for Jacob Murphy's, late wonder strike. And a strong backline is key to any teams, with lofty ambitions as well as, neither side at Stamford Bridge emerged with any real credit, on that front, because to be honest, both Chelsea and Newcastle, defensively, they've been very poor. I just cannot hide that. They've been very poor, Yes, Gareth Southgate was even there, watching a brief of Palmer's latest outing for the Londoners ahead of, his latest England squad announcement. Raheem Sterling of Chelsea, he disappointed big time, and I hope that doesn't be a detriment, to him getting a place in the England squad, because that performance against Newcastle on Monday evening was just not the one for Raheem Sterling. However, the Chelsea forward was actually handed a maiden, international, bow earlier this season, and he didn't disappoint in the latest live audition. Southgate was offered fresh food, for thought as Palmer produced another goal and assist in, the fifth game this season, which is an unparalleled feat. Because you look at the fact that most Premier League goal involvements for Chelsea last season came from Sterling as well as Kai Havertz. Sterling scored 6 goals and had 3 assists, which was 9 goal involvements. And then Kai Havertz had like 7 goals and 1 assist. So after 23 league appearances in the 2023-2024, Cole Palmer has more than both of them combined. Both Raheem Sterling as well as Kai Havertz. And his 19 goal involvements are also more than the combined 17 mastered by Raheem Sterling as well as Kai Havertz for the Blues last term. And in this vein, Palmer's name has to be, an automatic choice for the 3 Lions' upcoming friendlies with Brazil as well as Belgium, this coming month. As for the Magpies, they're so far gone. This result might have erased the pressure on Mauricio Pochettino, but Eddie Howe's Newcastle, tenure is now under the microscope because injuries pockmarked, his side's, truncated Champions League adventure and show no signs of abating after they're suffering fresh, setbacks in the capital. Already contending with the 6-player casualty list, the Magpies will dealt new blows with Dunban as well as, Anthony Gordon limping out. The target of returning to European competition is increasingly fading away with the 7-point gap to now bridge to the Conference League position. However, Howe is no stranger to delivering against odds, but it will actually require something monumental to salvage a season which threatens to be so far gone for Newcastle United. Crossing straight to La Liga, crossing straight to Spain. On Monday Night Football action, Almería 2, Sevilla 2, right? So Almería, they continued their streak without a win in their opening 28 games in La Liga. They looked the better side up until the final 10 minutes against their Andalusian neighbors in Sevilla, but, they did demonstrate that they have quality once again. In the first half, both sides had chances, with Yusuf En-Nesyri nearly latching onto an Isaac Romero pass, while Luis Maximiano, made an excellent one-on-one save from the latter. Almeria were arguably the better of the two sides though, and created several, clear openings, the best of which was converted by Adrian Mbarba, following a Jonathan Vieira pass. And then Vieira would go on to have 2 brilliant chances to extend Almeria's lead. And it seemed only natural that Almeria would rue them, because come the 80th minute, Sevilla's player of the second half, Isaac Romero went on what was to become a customary run at defense and behind the midfield to slip in, Dodi, Luke Bacchio, who like Mbarba, made no mistake. Sevilla were, wild minutes later when Romero, kept the corner alive, and at the back post, Lucas Ocampos, was there to just bundle home. And Sevilla looked as if, they were on their way to a third win in 6. But, with 2 minutes remaining in stoppage time, Sergio Arribas' dugout at a cross for Marco Milovanovic, to actually power a header low into the corner. However, a goal that left everyone feeling a little bittersweet. Almería are now into double figures on 10 points. Sevilla are 60th of the drop zone in 14th position. So basically, the result is not a good result for both teams. But I guess, it's just the way it is, man. However, Sevilla could have done better. They could have held on for all 3 points, man.